Ashley took my design proposal, just so her senior, Josh, could win the competition. When I confronted her, she was completely unapologetic. You're so talented, you can easily come up with a new design. This competition is important to Josh. Don't be so dramatic. I withdrew from the competition on the spot and went home to inherit the family business. Ashley, who had accused me of being immature, panicked. Ethan, don't be ridiculous. Design is your lifelong passion. You can't just quit. Josh, who had copied my design, also panicked. This design embodies all your hard work. Are you willing to give up at this critical moment? I hung up the phone unmoved. Ashley didn't know that the design was a draft for a new project her family's company had just contracted. I was looking forward to seeing how Josh would handle it without my help. Ethan, why did you copy my design? In front of everyone, Josh accused me of plagiarism, claiming I had copied his design. I tried to explain, but Ashley, my fiancée, stepped forward. Ethan, I understand you want to win this competition, but plagiarism is shameful. You can't just take someone else's work and blatantly enter it in the competition. She looked heartbroken, as if I had really done something unforgivable. Only she and I knew how many nights I had stayed up, burning out several computers for this design. But she had stolen my design the day before the deadline while I was resting and gave it to Josh, her beloved senior, just to help him win the prestigious Golden Design Award. Ironically, our relationship was so good that we were considered the golden couple of the academy. No one would doubt her words at this moment. Facing the accusing stares around me, I trembled with anger. Ashley apologized to everyone on my behalf. I'm sorry, I didn't expect Ethan to do such a thing. As his fiancée, I have an obligation to apologize to everyone. I hope everyone can forgive Ethan for the sake of our past friendship. I was so angry I felt like I was having a heart attack, but Ashley urged me to apologize to Josh. Looking at his smug expression, I flung Ashley's hand away. I won't apologize because I didn't plagiarize, but I won't participate in this design competition anymore. I turned and left the Design Institute. Ashley panicked and chased after me, grabbing my arm. Ethan, design is your dream. How much have you suffered for this dream? It's just plagiarism. As long as you sincerely apologize, we all welcome you back to continue the competition. Yes, Ethan, Josh chimed in hypocritically. I don't blame you. As long as you apologize, you can still participate in the competition. Looking at their hypocritical faces, I felt disgusted. I shook off Ashley and took off my Design Institute badge. No need, it's too dark here. I'm afraid I'll trip over a stone hidden in the shadows. Back home, I packed all my belongings. I even formatted all the computers that had accompanied me for many years. After doing all this, my family called. Ethan, how was the competition you participated in? My eyes darkened as I told my mother on the other end of the phone. I gave up. Before she could ask further, I added, I'm coming home. My mother's confusion instantly turned to ecstasy. Great. Ethan, you finally figured it out? I'll have the driver pick you up. I nodded and hung up the phone, feeling incredibly relieved. My family was not poor. They were even wealthier than Ashley's family. But because Ashley loved design, I gave up my original finance major and switched to design, studying for 7 years. For 7 years, from undergraduate to Ph.D. I won design awards one after another, and even personally designed several projects that Ashley's family company, the Lin Group, had won bids for. I thought I had been wholeheartedly devoted to Ashley, but in the end, all I got was her betrayal. Taking a deep breath, I was about to return my computer to the Design Institute when Ashley was already waiting for me at the door. She was furious when she saw me. Ethan, why don't you admit that you copied Josh's design? I almost burst out laughing at this question and asked her back, why should I admit it? Ashley, others may not know, but you live with me. You know how many nights I stayed up and how much effort I put into this design, don't you? You know how important this design is to me. Before I could finish, Ashley interrupted me aggressively. Enough! You've won so many awards. What does it matter if you miss one? Yes, I gave the design to Josh, so what? You're a recognized genius in the Institute. You can easily create a new design, can't you? This competition is important to Josh. Can you please stop being so petty? Petty. That word again. Over the years, I've heard Ashley call me petty countless times. When we went out together, the driver charged us double the fare, and I reported him. She said I was being petty. The Institute took her scholarship spot, and she cried in front of me. When I went to argue with the teacher, she said I was being petty. Now, the design I painstakingly worked on for several nights was stolen by her and given to someone else as a favor, and she still called me petty. But in every situation, she was the one who benefited. My heart suddenly felt very tired. I didn't want to say another word to Ashley. I bypassed her and prepared to go to the Design Institute. But Ashley reached out and blocked me again. "Where are you going?" "The Design Institute," I replied honestly. Ashley frowned. "You're still determined to give up on this competition? What else can I do?" I asked her. "Stay and be a scapegoat, diligently designing and letting others take the credit?" But apparently, that's exactly what Ashley thought. She said self-righteously, "You can't just give up. Ethan, I know your family situation. Without design, what can you do in the future? Stay and finish this competition, and then I'll introduce you to work at my dad's company." I felt like I had been struck by lightning and froze in place. No wonder Ashley was so fearless. She had calculated that I couldn't leave her. Unfortunately, she miscalculated. I wasn't the poor student she thought I was, and even if I was, I wouldn't be manipulated by her like this. "Thank you for your kindness, but I refuse." I rejected Ashley's offer and prepared to leave, but Ashley shouted behind me, "Ethan, why are you so stubborn? Fine. If you dare to walk out that door today, we're breaking up." In 7 years together, I've heard Ashley say break up countless times. Every time, I would beg her to reconcile. She was like a high-end mighty princess, giving orders at will, completely disregarding my feelings. But this time, I was truly tired. I readily agreed. "Okay." Then, under Ashley's stunned gaze, I walked straight out the door and took a taxi to leave. At the Design Institute, I handed him my computer. Professor Sanders was surprised. He pushed his gold-rimmed glasses up and said to me in a pretentious manner, "Ethan, I've heard about what happened this morning. It's not a big deal, and no one blames you. You don't have to resign because of it." But I knew he must have had a hand in this. I looked at him and said calmly, "Professor, both Josh and I are your students. You know better than anyone what our abilities are. You should also know better than anyone whether I plagiarized or not." Professor Sanders frowned instantly. "What do you mean? Are you saying I'm favoring Josh?" "Ethan, your design skills can be lacking, but your character cannot be compromised. With this attitude, you're destined to go nowhere in this field." I nodded in agreement. "That's why I'm quitting. I'm done." Professor Sanders was furious and pointed at me, speechless for a long time. I turned to leave the Design Institute, but Josh and Ashley appeared at the door. Hearing my conversation with Professor Sanders, Josh said hypocritically, "Ethan, if you copied, you copied. No one's blaming you. I've already discussed it with Professor Sanders. We'll keep your plagiarism a secret and let you participate in the submission of this design as an assistant. Then, when we win the award, your name will also appear on the organizing committee's list." How about that? I couldn't help but want to applaud him. If his design wasn't plagiarized from mine, staring at his shameless face, I said word by word, "Josh, you've been in the design industry for so long. You should know that assistants are not eligible for nominations in the competition, right? Moreover, the Golden Design Award is one of the most prestigious design competitions in the industry. The gold medalist can directly enter the headquarters of the Golden Group with a bright future ahead. I don't need an assistant position." But Ashley reacted as if she had been stepped on her tail, jumping up instantly. "What do you mean? The design wasn't yours in the first place, and you still want to participate as the designer? Josh is being generous by offering you an assistant position to participate. Don't be ungrateful. You'll take this assistant position whether you want it or not. Otherwise, once you step out of this door today, you won't find any designer job in the city." Professor Sanders also narrowed his eyes and threatened me. "I have some friends in the education field. Ethan, let me tell you, no school will accept a student with a tainted record like yours." "That's right," Josh added. "If I remember correctly, Ethan, you're pursuing a combined bachelor's, master's, and doctoral program, right? With such a bad record, not only will you lose your doctorate, but all your previous studies will be wasted." The three of them smirked, as if they were certain that I would follow the path they had laid out for me. Looking at them, I suddenly changed my mind. "Okay, I agree." Ashley's face instantly lit up with ecstasy, but she still said arrogantly, "That's more like it. Ethan, work hard. I've already talked to my dad. After the competition, we'll get married, and then I'll arrange for you to work at my family's company." Professor Sanders also promised that I would graduate on time, but I didn't want any of it. There were less than 24 hours until the deadline. I was forced to stay at the Design Institute, starting work that was ostensibly assistance, but actually completing the rest of the design. To prevent me from tampering with it, Josh and Ashley watched me almost 24/7. Only when I went to the bathroom could I barely glance at the messages my mom sent me. "Ethan, what's wrong? Why aren't you answering my calls?" I replied to her, "Mom, I have something to do. I'll definitely be home tomorrow." Under Josh and Ashley's supervision, I finished the rest of the design in less than half a day. However, there was a slight operational flaw in the final 3D modeling that I still couldn't solve. Josh was sweating profusely, and Ashley was blaming me for being useless. My expression remained innocent throughout. "I've been sitting here all day. Even if I were a robot, I need to recharge. How about I go back to sleep and come back tomorrow morning to fix it? The competition is tomorrow afternoon anyway, so it won't be delayed." But Ashley wouldn't agree. "What if we don't make it in time?" Looking at her, her eyes only on Josh, I sneered, said I had a headache, and pretended to faint. I was sent to the hospital and underwent various tests. The doctor said I was just overworked and needed to rest. Hearing this, Ashley and Josh both breathed a sigh of relief. But seeing that I wasn't waking up, they had to spend the night at the hospital. Late at night, I don't know when the two of them rolled together. I heard Ashley say shyly, "Stop it. Ethan is still next to us." Josh's voice was full of oiliness and desire. "Wouldn't it be more exciting this way? Besides, I'm about to win the Golden Design Award. Once I enter the Golden Group headquarters, Ethan is nothing. What's there to be afraid of?" Ashley seemed to be persuaded, and the two soon started kissing. I could even hear the sounds of their saliva. Suppressing the nausea rising in my heart, I quietly slipped out of the hospital while they were lost in passion. I called my driver and left the city, heading straight home. By the time Ashley and Josh reacted and frantically called me, I was already on the plane home. Looking at the flashing phone number on the screen, I turned off my phone, leaned back in my seat, and slept soundly. When the morning sun shone on my face, I was already safely home. My mom had already prepared a table full of dishes, waiting for me to come back. Smelling the aroma of the food, I realized that I was finally home. I ate and drank, then lay on the soft bed, enjoying this rare moment of relaxation. Back then, in order to be with Ashley, my relationship with my family became very strained. Ashley was also a big spender. To not make her feel wronged, I desperately drew designs to make money, leaving very little time for myself in the past 7 years. Now I could finally be myself. This feeling was simply amazing. Ashley was still bombarding my phone. When she couldn't get through, she started sending messages. The content was similar. "Ethan, where are you? Get back here. Don't play disappearing games. Believe it or not, I'll break up with you." I simply replied with. The next second, Ashley's call came in. I accidentally pressed answer, and Ashley's roaring voice immediately came from the receiver. "Ethan, what do you mean? Didn't we agree that you would fix it this morning? Where are you? Do you know how much your reckless behavior will affect Josh? I don't care where you are. I want you to get back here within 10 minutes. Otherwise, we're over." Listening to her accusations, I smiled faintly and asked her, "Aren't we already over? From the moment you stole my design and gave it to Josh, we were over." "Ashley, I'm officially informing you now. We're breaking up." Ashley on the other end of the phone was almost speechless. After a pause, she raised her voice and said, "Ethan, you want to break up with me? We just got engaged not long ago. You want to break up with me?" I replied, "You can get a divorce even after getting married. Why can't you break up after getting engaged? Besides, you and Josh have such a good relationship. If we don't break up, are you willing to let your Josh be the third wheel?" Ashley lost it and yelled at me, calling me crazy. She also said that if I didn't go back, she would ask Professor Sanders not to issue my diploma, and I wouldn't be able to work at her father's company in the future. I immediately laughed and sent her a picture of my family's mansion. "Look, my house is 3 or 4 times bigger than yours. So what if I don't graduate? It's not like I care. As for work, sorry, I've decided to go home and inherit the family business. I'm not destined to be a worker in this life." The competition was about to start, and Josh came to ask Ashley what was going on in a hurry. Seeing Ashley shaking her head, he could only say, "Forget it, it's just a run-through. It won't affect the competition." "Ethan, just you wait. This isn't over between us. Is that so? I was also looking forward to seeing how Josh, who couldn't even handle his own shit, would make things not over between us. 8 p.m. My mom called me downstairs to watch TV with her. When I turned on the TV, it was broadcasting the Golden Design Award ceremony live. Josh took his entry, spring and autumn, onto the stage and spoke eloquently in front of the audience and judges. My mom's expression suddenly became strange as she stared at the design in Josh's hands. She reached out to change the channel, but I stopped her. Just watch it. Why change the channel? My mom stammered, unable to utter a complete sentence. After a while, she asked me, Ethan, did something happen to you at school? When I was working on spring and autumn, I was unsure about a detail and secretly asked the designer who had worked on our family company's design. My mom found out about this and offered me many design ideas for reference. That was when the relationship between us, mother and son, began to ease. I knew I couldn't hide this from my mom, so I admitted it frankly. My design was stolen. What? My mom immediately exploded, ignoring the TV and jumping up from the sofa. Who did it? I'll call the organizing committee right now and demand that they disqualify him. He plagiarized my son's work. He's crazy. My mom was furious, but I told her to calm down. Mom, don't bother. Soon, this person will get what he deserves. My mom was skeptical, so I brought her a plate of fruit that the housekeeper had washed. Trust me, when has your son ever suffered a loss? The live broadcast continued. As soon as spring and autumn was unveiled, it attracted everyone's attention. Seeing the approving looks of the judges, my mom felt even more indignant. Josh straightened his back, enjoying the compliments of the people present. Until the demonstration one year. He confidently opened the 3D presentation, only to find that the originally edited model diagram had disappeared, replaced by 4 large words. Plagiarism is shameful. The red font with the huge exclamation marks instantly shocked the audience. Everyone looked at each other, not understanding what was happening. Josh panicked and tried to close the presentation, but it was too late. The preset program started running, from design inspiration to concept, and then to some details which were completely different from what Josh had said before. But anyone with a discerning eye could see that this explanation was obviously more sophisticated than Josh's. Josh's face turned pale, but he still tried to argue that this was a unique presentation he had prepared to be different. But the judges weren't blind. Especially after the entire animation demonstration was over, a question was raised at the very end, claiming that only the true author of the design could answer it. The judge threw the question to Josh. You said you were the author of Spring and Autumn. Please answer the question at the end of the presentation. Josh, holding the microphone, was sweating nervously, but he couldn't answer the question. Seeing him like this, the organizing committee announced on the spot, due to suspicion of plagiarism, contestant Josh is disqualified. I felt great. My mom also gave me a thumbs up. That's my son. Mom will reward you with $10 million. Spend it however you like. I immediately grabbed the bank card my mom handed me and headed straight to the mall. With Ashley, I spent every day frantically drawing designs to make money. Today, I was going to enjoy myself no matter what. I test drove the latest sports car and bought myself a new outfit. Just as I was happily lost in my own world, Ashley's call came in at a very inopportune moment. I didn't need to answer to know what she was going to say. I chose to ignore it directly. But Ashley was like a piece of gum that couldn't be shaken off, frantically bombarding my phone, making it impossible for me to even pay. In desperation, I could only choose to block her. Then, the world became quiet. For the next few days, I indulged in pleasure. Bali today, Venice tomorrow, having a great time. I tried bungee jumping and skydiving, which I had never done before because I had been reluctant to spend money and only let Ashley experience them. Lying on a foreign beach and enjoying the sea breeze, I couldn't help but sigh. This was the life a rich second generation like me should live. I was fulfilled. Ashley and Josh weren't doing too bad either. Especially Josh, caught in the plagiarism scandal, he was surrounded and questioned about whether he had plagiarized every day when he opened his eyes. Josh was so harassed that he couldn't even sleep well, and his whole person visibly chessy. Ashley felt sorry for him and took the initiative to clarify for him. She even shifted the blame and told major media outlets. Josh's original presentation wasn't like that. It was Ethan who was jealous of Josh and deliberately changed the animation. Josh said the presentation was his own work because he didn't want Ethan to be punished by the academy. There was indeed plagiarism, but it wasn't Josh, it was Ethan. To support her claims, Ashley even released a previous argument we had at the academy. Coupled with her deliberate online guidance, for a time, many people who didn't know the truth really thought I was the plagiarist and came to criticize me. My social media accounts were bombarded by so-called justice warriors, and even the dormitory and apartment I used to live in were besieged with people writing radical remarks like plagiarist families should die on them. My mom was so worried that she couldn't sleep, but I only posted one sentence on social media. The answer to the question at the end of the presentation on the day of the competition. In an instant, the entire internet went silent. Ashley was unconvinced and continued to clamor that I was making things up. She also used her identity as my fiancée to continue to defend Josh. With the blessing of this identity, the netizens who had calmed down were once again used by her, and my comment section became a battlefield. However, I received a verification call from the organizing committee. After a brief exchange, the organizing committee issued a statement confirming that I was the author of Spring and Autumn. Josh's plagiarism was confirmed. The trolls quickly flooded into Josh's life, cursing him and his ancestors. Under the immense pressure of public opinion, the academy had to expel him. Even so, Josh's life was not peaceful. Countless people harassed him offline every day. As long as Josh dared to go out, he would be greeted by buckets of feces or urine. I was quite satisfied with this result. I had also had enough fun these days and went directly to my mom's company to report for duty. That was when Ashley's call came. She had changed her number and called me off guard, scolding me as soon as she spoke. "Ethan, are you satisfied now? Do you know that you've ruined Josh? Stop hurting Josh immediately, or I won't let you off." The unoriginal threat made my ears callous. I asked her, "Are you going to prevent me from graduating or finding a job?" "I've already told you, I don't care. You and that damn Professor Sanders can do whatever you want. Just stay away from me. You're bad luck." After saying that, I hung up the phone directly. Ashley, who was angry, sent me a text message to scold me. The content was equally unoriginal. To sum it up in one sentence, I would regret it. Hilarious, I already regretted it. But it wasn't regretting what I did, but regretting that I was blind back then and how I could have fallen for such an idiot. I thoughtfully blocked Ashley's new number and entered the CEO's office to start working. Let me tell you, being the boss was much more enjoyable than being a designer. I used to run my legs off at the whim of others. Now I could finally experience what it was like to be a powerful client. But Ashley's next move really shocked me. I had thought of countless ways she could help Josh clear his name, including marrying him and having the Lynn Group do emergency PR. I didn't expect this crazy woman to actually take Josh's version of the design and have the Lynn Group start the project. I understood her thinking. It was nothing more than thinking that as long as the project was implemented, it would prove that there was no problem with Josh's design. Even if I had the certification from the organizing committee, I wouldn't be able to get rid of the suspicion of plagiarism. How should I put it? The imagination was beautiful, but the reality was harsh. I silently rejected the proposal from the planning department to acquire the Lynn Group. I knew that a big show was about to unfold in front of me. Ashley was determined to protect Josh. She invested half of the Lynn Group's assets to launch the new project. She also spent a lot of effort on publicity. In less than 3 months, the new project was successfully launched. On the day of completion, Ashley even invited half the city's media reporters to the site to report. Her speech was wonderful. "Josh and I are classmates. I know his character and abilities better than anyone. He couldn't have plagiarized. I'm using this project to clearly tell everyone that Josh's design is feasible. He's not a plagiarist." What a wonderful speech. I almost wanted to applaud. But I knew that Josh was all talk and no substance. The implementation of the design into a real project required the guidance of the designer. The Lynn Group's new project couldn't possibly succeed. I waited for Ashley's downfall. But to my surprise, their new project actually passed the inspection. I was puzzled. I even took Josh's design drawings and studied them repeatedly, and I also showed them to authoritative experts, but the conclusion was the same. Josh even called me to gloat. "Ethan, so what if you tampered with the presentation animation? With Ashley, you'll never be able to beat me. You poor loser." This world is beyond your imagination. I'm not only going to clear my name, but I'm also going to have Ashley and Professor Sanders completely destroy you. Just wait and die, you idiot. Josh's tone was arrogant, but I suddenly thought of a possibility. I secretly made a report, requesting the relevant departments to conduct another inspection of the Lin Group's new project. Unfortunately, before the inspection results came out, something happened to the Lin Group's new project. A company held a large-scale event there without reporting it, and a corner of the building collapsed, causing hundreds of casualties. The Lin Group instantly became a trending topic. Ashley immediately launched emergency PR, saying that the construction company had cut corners. Unfortunately, the construction company was her own uncle, so she had to change her story and say it was the material supplier's problem. But unfortunately, the material supplier was a subsidiary of my mom's company. Since she was spitting on my doorstep, I wouldn't let her get away with it. I immediately produced the relevant evidence. Ashley was instantly speechless. Before she could find a new excuse, the results of the reinspection that I had commissioned came out. There were problems with the design of the Lin Group's new project, and it wasn't suitable for construction at all. This time, no matter how hard Ashley tried, she couldn't explain it away. Faced with the angry public, Ashley's father made a decision and blamed everything on Josh. Josh was arrested and faced the death penalty. No matter how Ashley pleaded with her father, it was useless. Even the Lin Group was affected by this incident, and its stock plummeted overnight. I seized the opportunity and bought most of the Lin Group's shares, becoming the largest shareholder. In just a week, the Lin Group was completely transformed, and the Chin Group sign was hung up. Seeing me appear at the new company handover ceremony, Ashley finally realized what had happened and rushed forward, pointing at me and yelling, "It's you, Ethan. You ruined Josh. You ruined my dad's hard work. This isn't over between us." Ashley was like a mad woman, waving her hands in front of me, trying to scratch my face. Unfortunately, I was surrounded by layers of bodyguards, and Ashley couldn't get close to me at all. A group of shareholders even shouted at her, telling her to stop causing trouble. Seeing the comrades who used to fight alongside her father now standing on my side, Ashley's face turned ashen, and she cursed them for being heartless. The security guards grabbed Ashley's arms and wanted to throw her out. But I stopped them and walked up to Ashley saying, "I've never harmed anyone. It's your greed that ruined them. Spring and Autumn was originally my work, but you stole my design and gave it to Josh, lying that it was his work and letting him participate in the competition. Yes, the Golden Design Award is important to Josh, but isn't it important to me too? You know what I sacrificed and what I paid for it. Ashley, you're the one who ruined Josh. You're the one who ruined our relationship." Ashley was speechless. After a pause, she still stubbornly said, "But the Lin Group is innocent. Ethan, why did you target it? You ruined my dad's life's work. Do you know that? My dad treated you like his son-in-law, but you stabbed him in the back. Don't you have a conscience?" I threw an agreement in front of her. "Do you think your dad agreed to our engagement for no reason? It's because I promised him that after I won the Golden Design Award and entered the Golden Group, I would design all the Lin Group's projects for free. Ashley, from the day we got together, I've been planning for our future. But what about you? Between you and me, who betrayed whom?" Ashley was speechless. The shareholders' meeting was about to start, so I had someone escort her out. The Lin Group was officially merged into the Chin Group, and I went to the subsidiary to take charge. I thought this was the end of it. Unexpectedly, within a few days, Ashley came to the company, pregnant, and asked me to take responsibility. "Ethan, I'm pregnant, let's get married." Looking at her self-righteous expression, I thought I was dreaming. It took me a long time to regain my composure and tell her, "Whoever's it is, you should find him to take responsibility. What are you looking for me for?" But Ashley insisted that the child in her belly was mine and refused to leave the lobby, claiming that if I didn't take responsibility, she would kill herself by hitting her head against the wall. "Ethan, you caused my family to go bankrupt, and my dad was so angry that he was hospitalized. I don't blame you, but you can't deny this child in my belly. I've been with you for 7 years. We're even engaged. You just done me like that. What's the difference between you and Chinshimi?" I almost laughed at her words. Yes, Ashley and I had been together for 7 years and were engaged. But ever since Josh appeared 3 years ago, she hadn't been intimate with me. Not to mention that for the past 6 months, she had been messing around with Josh, and we hadn't even seen each other. With a cold face, I told Ashley, "You can stay if you want, but the child is not mine. Stop slandering me." But I still underestimated Ashley's methods. She started a live stream right there in the company lobby. In front of all the netizens, she tearfully accused me of being irresponsible. Ethan pretended to be poor and deliberately approached me, causing my family to be ruined. I don't blame him. I'm carrying his child. I just want the child to have a complete family. What did I do wrong? Her acting was superb, and she quickly gained the sympathy of many netizens. Everyone called me Chun Shimmy, a heartless man. Even the company was affected, and the stock price plummeted. Unable to bear it, I simply released a video of Ashley and Josh's intimate encounter at the hospital that night. And I asked Ashley to go to the hospital for a paternity test. Ashley refused. After several rounds of back and forth, the netizens also saw Ashley's true colors, and no one was willing to help her anymore. Instead, they attacked her with all sorts of vicious remarks, telling her to stop embarrassing herself. Helpless, Ashley went to my company to make trouble again, but this time I was prepared and called the police to sue her. Ashley was jailed for defamation because she refused to accept the verdict and attacked the law enforcement officers in court. She had a miscarriage on the spot. After going to the hospital, she was taken into custody. She would face the punishment of the law. Her father, who was already bedridden, heard the news and passed away. A month later, the verdict on Josh was also announced. He was sentenced to death for endangering public safety. According to his confession, my former mentor, Professor Sanders, was also jailed for academic fraud. Everything finally came to an end. I received an offer from the Golden Group. They had studied my previous works and believed that I had a talent for design, and they were willing to make an exception and recruit me. But I didn't need it anymore. I built a skyscraper in the city based on the design of spring and autumn, incorporating new concepts, demolishing the fake spring and autumn, and creating a new landmark. I no longer engaged in design, but everyone who visited the new landmark would praise the designer's genius. Looking at the huge words Chun Group on the new landmark, I was satisfied. The end.